Hello, friends of Mount Calvary. I got a good word for you today. On Sunday, our gospel lesson was from John chapter 4, and in it we hear about Jesus' second miracle. There was a man from Capernaum, which is a little ways away, whose son was ill. Now, he was an official. He was pretty well-to-do, and he came to Jesus and he said, "Sir, come down before my child dies." So this man was expecting Jesus to go with him, make the walk back to Capernaum, and do something to help his son. But Jesus doesn't meet his expectation. He just gives him a few short, simple, small words. He says, "Go, your son will live." And St. John records for us that the man believed Jesus' words. And the next day he starts going back home, and his servants come down the road to greet him, and they say, "Your son is recovering." And so he inquired of them at what time his son began to get better. And they said, "At the 7th hour yesterday, the fever left him." And that was the same time the day before that Jesus spoke those words, "Go, your son will live." He and his whole household believed. Back when I was in seminary, we had a hymn festival. I was in the choir, and it was in honor of Martin Franzmann, who was a professor at the seminary in St. Louis, and also a hymn writer. And so we sang a whole bunch of Franzmann hymns. And in the middle of the service, a sermon was read that Dr. Franzmann had written years before, and it was based off of this text. The title of that sermon was "A Word in His Pocket." And very beautifully and very poetically, he talked about how all this man had to hold on to were just a few short, simple, small words that he put with him in his pocket and held on to by faith. That's what we do with the words of God that he gives to us, especially when he doesn't meet our expectations in the moment, but by faith we are still called to hold on to his words of promise and his words of direction for our good. And as we go about our way, about our life, holding on to these words for our good, doing so by faith, our expectations are not just met, they are surpassed. So may you today, and your whole life through, be like this man and hold on to Jesus' words by faith. Put them in your pocket, hang them up on your walls, put them all over your house and wherever you go. Hold on to these precious promises of God by faith, and your expectations of joy will be surpassed. Have a blessed day. Go in God's peace.